Hello everyone, my name is Dar Rath and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story that takes about 5 minutes to watch. I read stories from different authors. Some of them are funny and some of them give you something to think about, which is the case of this particular story. This story I've heard before in different settings, but this one I'm going to call the Vietnamese setting. It's in a book called Flowers in the Wind, and it's written by Frank Campbell. One day in the land of Vietnam during the war, some stray artillery rounds landed on an orphanage. Many children were wounded. One of the wounded was a 9-year-old girl who lost a lot of blood. Word spread quickly about the destruction of the orphanage. Soon a nurse and physician from the United States Navy came to help the children. They started with a young girl who was in shock. After examining her, they realized that without an immediate blood transfusion, she would die. To get a donor, the nurse and physician called together the unharmed children. In their very poor Vietnamese and limited French, they explained to the orphans that they needed some blood to give to the girl or she would die. At first, the frightened children remained silent and simply stared at the health workers. Then a little boy raised his hand, put it down, and then put it up again. He was 10 years old. The nurse quickly asked him his name, and he said, "Hang." He replied, and he whispered his name. The nurse placed Hang on a cot, and she ran a test to see if Hang's blood was compatible with that of the girl who needed the transfusion. When she learned the blood was acceptable, the transfusion started for Hang to the little girl. All went smoothly until Hang began to cry. When the nurse asked if the transfusion was hurting, Hang shook his head no, but went into deeper and deeper sobs and began to shake. Soon he was in a flood of tears. The nurse and the physician could not figure out what was wrong. At that moment, a Vietnamese nurse arrived on the scene. She quickly spoke to Hang in his own language. After giving many sobbing answers, the nurse whispered softly to him. Suddenly, Hang began to become very calm and stopped crying. Turning to the Navy nurse and physician, the Vietnamese nurse explained in subdued tones. Little Hang thought he was going to die. He thought that you needed all of his blood and that he would have to die to save the little girl's life. The American physician and nurse were shocked and asked, how could he possibly have the courage to do that? The Vietnamese nurse turned and asked the little boy, and he answered simply, "Because she is my friend." Well, the profound courage and love showed by the little boy is truly amazing and inspirational. I wonder always, and I think you should wonder with me, if we were presented with this same situation, but supposing we had to actually give our life for someone else, would we do it? An inspirational story for sure. Thanks for taking 5, and blessings on your day.